Good morning. Good morning. Let's get started. Today is August 19th, 2025. I'm Cecil Pendergast. I'm currently the Vice Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners. We're absent Commissioner Greenwell and Commissioner Wayne for other engagements, but we are here today and to also welcome to our employees. So we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer. We have a prayer by Pastor Becky from the Covenant Presbyterian Church. If you could come forward to the podium there. Thank you.
I go first?
Yes.
Okay. I'll bring you greetings from Covenant Presbyterian Church and give thanks for this opportunity. Let us pray. Creator God, the giver of life, the source of strength, and the hope of our tomorrows, we thank you for the possibilities within this county commission. You have given us meaningful work, and we are grateful. Move our gratitude to become generosity towards those who are empty and patience with those who are searching for purpose. You have given us a bounty of food, and we are grateful. Move our gratitude to become outreach to the hungry and energy for greater service. We offer our gifts to you, not to earn your favor, but to honor your presence. We offer ourselves to you, not to claim goodness, but to say thank you. Guide the work and the gifts of this group to offer goodness and mercy and purpose to all, as you have offered goodness and mercy and purpose to us. It is in God's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Again, thank you for joining us this morning. It's a beautiful day in Southwest Florida. Even though we have a hurricane a few hundred miles east of us, thank goodness it didn't come this way. So another good one. We missed that one. County Manager, I'd like to introduce our first item this morning. We have the Length of Service Awards for our great employees here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask Kristen Bristol from HR to come up and present today.
Okay, the board, we will join them down the front here for the recognition of their awards, and we'll come back up here for a picture. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Kristen Bristol from Human Resources for the Lee County Board of County Commissioners. Summer Crozier accompanies me this morning from Human Resources, along with County Manager Dave Harner. We are here this morning to present the Length of Service Awards to all eligible employees for the second quarter of 2025. These awards represent collectively 1,130 years of service to Lee County government. For those employees present, as I call out your name, please step forward to receive your coin from County Manager and greet the commissioners and the senior team. Please remain off to the side in order to take a group photo at the end of the presentation. As I start calling each group by years of service, I ask for everyone in that group to gather in the back. Let's get started with the 5-year recipients. With 5 years of service, we have Vincent Matchett from Facilities. We have Greg Alcaber from Utilities. And now can I please have the 10-year recipients stand in the back? We have Missy Trudeau from the County Manager's Office. And our next recipient is receiving a 10-year award, as well as celebrating a birthday today, Becky Welburn from the County Manager's Office. Brittany Banker from DOT Engineering. And Malka Taranam from the library. Erin Murphy from Natural Resources. Andrew Walker from Solid Waste. Talia Bickle from Utilities. Michael Davenport from Utilities. Odette Kleinman from Utilities. And now can I please have our 15-year recipients gather in the back? We have Dr. Marion Osborne from Human Resources. Casey Allo from Public Safety. Ronald DeWitt from Utilities. Fran Velasco from the VCV. And now can I please have our 20-year recipients gather in the back? And first we have Elizabeth Workman from DCD Zoning. And Eileen Webster from DOT Engineering. Jean-Louis from DOT Tolls. China Abrams from DOT Traffic. Melanie Harvey from Facilities. Adicia Adams from the Library. Tina Gerard from Natural Resources. Robert Lanier from Solid Waste. Edna Ordanza DeSantis from Transit. Rick Norris from Utilities. Kevin Rockefeller from Utilities. Mike Sherman from Utilities. And can we have our 25-year recipients please gather in the back? Randy Hart from DOT Traffic. Diane Dowdle from Public Safety. Bill Floyd from Public Safety. Patricia Brooks from Utilities. And with 30 years, we have Troy Trudeau from Animal Services. And now can I please have our 35-year recipients stand in the back? First, we have Teresa Mann from County Lands. And Brian Mulkey from the Library. And Kathy Loomis from Parks and Recreation. We also have one 40-year recipient. Can I have Terry Lawhon from Parks and Recreation? Congratulations to all of these employees, and thank you for your service to Lee County.
A lot of switches and wires.
Oh, yeah. Warehouse.
You guys own that building?
Grandpa does. Yeah. We were one of the first people to buy it. Mark.
Yeah, that was very smart. I know that. That was smart.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Billy Creek.
We've had a lot of employees here for time.
You know,
I was looking for Beth, not you, but that's okay.
okay, you guys ready?
Three, two, one. We're gonna do one more. 3, 2, 1. Act crazy!
All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah.
There you go. I love that. Absolutely.
I don't think there's anything left. Yeah.
We'll let everybody clear out of here and then we'll start the agenda.
Who does that? I'll talk to Mark about it.
Well, County Manager, I have to say, another great example of your leadership and all the employees here for Lee County. Everybody makes, one org such a great organization. So again, thank you we saw an example of that. It's just amazing now. Every time we go through this, we all obviously getting older, but we see now we heard a couple 40-year employees. But I noticed, though, usually the 35 and 40-year employees are usually Parks and Rec. I've always heard that's the happiest place to work. So,
Yes.
and from working there at the beginning of your career, what, 35 years ago?
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
35 years ago.
35.
So Dave started originally in Parks and Rec. So it's a great department and many of others. So again, thank you for everything.
Thank you, and we definitely appreciate the board's support. Thank you very much.
Okay. We'll move on to the recap. We have the recap, and we have one item to be deferred. And the county attorney, we do not need a vote for that deferral.
That's correct.
Okay. And we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items be pulled for discussion with the board. Commissioner Hammond, any items be pulled?
No items to be pulled, Mr. Chairman. I did see on the recap a correction to the
Oh, yeah.
motion on item C28. So I'll make a motion if that needs to be corrected.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment on corrections on C28? We'll come back to the board. Any objection? No objection. Motion carries.
Okay.
We have the correction approved. Thank you, Commissioner Hammond. Moving the consent item be pulled. Commissioner Hammond, you have no items?
Nothing?
I have none. Commissioner Malika?
None.
Okay, we have no items. We'll ask for public comment on the balance of the items. Any public comment on the consent agenda? We'll come back to the board. Motion for approval.
I move approval of the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion.
Second
We have a second. Any objections? No objection. Motion carries. Administrative agenda. Agenda item 33. We will convene as the Board of Court Commissioners for this item at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 33 is a companion to item 9 on consent that you just approved. Item 9, you approve this matter substantively as the Board of County Commissioners. We now need you to approve it as the Port Authority, and Port Authority staff is here for an explanation as to the substance of the matter.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Dave Amdor, Chief Financial Officer for the Port Authority, for the record. Item 33, we're requesting the Board approve a reimbursement resolution allowing the Port Authority to reimburse certain capital projects that will be paid for out of the Port Authority's RSW's Capital Construction Fund and/or the Port Authority's revolving credit facility or line of credit. Reimbursement will be made utilizing the issuance of future tax-exempt debt. So we plan to be in the bond market in early 2026 to raise the additional funds needed for the terminal projects, and this is asking for approval to provide the flexibility to reimburse costs that we have incurred or will incur in the future. So.
Thank you. Great. Chairman, I'll move approval of the requested motion.
We have a motion? I'll second it. Any public comment on item 33? Okay, come back forward. Any objection? No objection. Motion.
I do object. I do have a question, though.
Commissioner?
Is it appropriate to ask a question?
Yes, go right ahead.
So we had item 9 and item 33. Can you tell us how those are related, why we have to approve it as both parts of, as a board and a Port Authority Commissioner?
What do you want me to take it?
Mr. Chairman?
Richard?
Because the bonds that will be issued in the future will be issued in the name of both entities, so we need the reimbursement resolution to be in the name of both entities so that we can reach those proceeds in the future. You're not approving any new debt by virtue of today's action. It's just a reimbursement resolution to allow us to reimburse costs from future debt proceeds that you will approve independently as both the Board of County Commissioners and the Port Authority. That will not constitute debt of the BoCC, and the refunding or the funding of the debt service will be strictly through Port Authority revenues, largely passenger service fees, not ad valorem taxation.
Okay, so I thought it was an important note during our briefing. You mentioned that this debt is to pay back expenses paid by the Port Authority for their own projects, and that the Lee County taxpayers, there's no liability or commingling of any funds regarding these measures. So I just wanted to point that out, since we often get asked those questions about property taxes in the airport. I think so. Thank you for that.
Great. Thank you. Any other discussion? Any objections to the motion in the second?
Nope.
No objection. Motion carries. Thank you. We now reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. Number 34.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is to adopt resolution of necessity for Cape Coral Bridge Replacement Project. I'd like to ask Mr. Robert Clemens to present the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Clemens, County Lands. This is a request to approve a resolution of necessity for acquisition purposes of parcels on the Cape Coral Replacement Bridge project. This resolution of necessity would allow us to pursue the acquisition, be it voluntarily or involuntarily through eminent domain if necessary. The 5 criteria for pursuing the resolution of necessity have been considered, that being alternatives, safety concerns, environmental concerns, cost estimates, and long-range planning, and those have been further defined in the resolution of necessity. If there's any questions.
Great. Any questions for staff?
No questions for our real estate staff, Mr. Chairman, but maybe Rob Price could just put on the record real quick a question that I had about.
Rob, can you come forward, please? Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
Morning, Commissioner.
Rob Price.
Thank you very much for coming up, Rob. Easy question. Just I noticed right now, as you're coming from Del Prado and turning onto Cape Coral Parkway, heading towards the bridge, there's like a quick merge. You can turn into 3 lanes, but you got to merge down to 2 real quick. Are we going to resolve that with the new design of the bridge?
Yeah, we'll be carrying 6 lanes, 3 in each direction, all the way to the bridge and all the way into Fort Myers.
Okay, so that's why we need to get this little piece of that one property there so we can widen that lane out, basically?
Correct.
Okay, thanks so much. I think that's important. And then while I've got you too, one thing that I've been talking with people about is we're still planning to try to keep 4 lanes of traffic throughout the duration of the construction project, right?
100%. There might be some nighttime lane adjustments that we have to go through as we're going through the construction. All that'll be worked out with the contractor after the fact. We are going to require 4 lanes of traffic to be open at all times, especially during rush hours.
And one of the ways we could do that is by building the new span next to the existing spans and then transferring traffic onto one of the new spans?
Yeah, the new span, our initial plan right now is to build the eastbound span on the south side of the current bridges. That span will be wide enough to carry 4 lanes of traffic because we're going to have 10 to 12-foot shoulders on either side, plus the shared use path area. We'll build that new span, transition all the traffic over to the new span, demo the old spans, and build the new westbound span.
I can tell you just from, being around the Cape, people are so excited about the idea that this project is coming. People definitely think that the bridge and obviously the roads on either side of the bridge need this improvement, and really excited to hear that we'll keep 4 lanes of traffic open at all times. So thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion as requested by our staff too.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this item? Come back forward. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. Number 35.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is to approve contract amendment for construction of Southeast Advanced Waste Water Facility. I'd like to ask Pam Keys to present the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is quite an accomplishment for the county. Today we are asking you to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the construction of a new wastewater reclamation facility. And this has been a long-term project that we've been planning for since 2010. We did acquire property along Alico at the Green Meadows Alico intersection because we knew that not only was there demand and population growth in that Corkscrew Alico area, but also our Three Oaks water plant, which is now serving that area, was also experiencing increased demands. So in 2018, we started working on the zoning and comp plan amendments. While we worked on that, there were 2 very specific developments, FFD and Kingston, that were also in the development process, which really escalated our need to get this plant done. And we also needed to take those into the design consideration. So in 23, we had public meetings so we could hear from the public on what their concerns were and then try to fold their concerns into our design. And now here in 25, we are ready to start construction. And we anticipate construction to continue through 2029. The need for the new plant, as I said, was first just the development along 75, and then as time went on, you'll see that Kingston, the Place, Veranda Village, all of these units came in for our consideration and our planning. We now are going to build the plant to be a 6 million gallon per day plant with the ability to phase up to a 10 MGD. To allow for those developments. The property much of it remains wetlands. That's a conservation easement that we're working on. And it's also public facilities and DRGR. And we've followed all of those procedures to ensure that we've got the proper designations. This is a rendering from the street view at Alico and Green Meadows, and it also shows a rendering of the plant layout. You'll see that there is lots of setback, and it's kind of far from the Alico expansion, which we also planned for. This is what it'll look like for the 6 MGD, and then you'll see the change as we add for 10 MGD to meet those future demands. This is our Three Oaks plant, and why I show this to you is that you'll see that it's right next to a park, a school, lots of residential areas. This is a plant that we do not receive complaints. We heard a lot about noise and odors and different concerns, which we completely understand. But you'll see that there's very little setback, and we don't have those type of complaints for this similar plant. So the funding, the GMP, the good news is it was less than what we had anticipated. We are going to have to amend our budgets as we go through. It's a multi-year project, but we were pleased with the results. We'll be working with a very reputable contractor. It is basically covered by sewer capacity fees collected from developers, and we also intend to get new revenue, new bond revenue. Again, we'd like to see the plant will be in operation by 2029, and then we have a year for making adjustments that may be needed. That's a brief presentation, and would love to answer questions if you have.
Great. Thank you, Pam, for that. If we could we go back a couple of slides to the aerial of what it's going to look like from the air? That's the Three Oaks one. Yeah, for example, we could stop there. So, Pam, thank you. Thank you for going over the timeline so people listening does not know the history of this. Myself and Commissioner Hammond, we can say we've been involved with this from day one, and thank you for bringing this forward, because we've been trying to push this for years, because we saw now with those developments you just talked about, they were talked about 8-10 years ago. They're already there.
Yeah.
The place, Verdana, place is sold out. Verdana, I never thought we'd have a Publix east of I-75, but there's a Publix out there now, and thousands of people living out there. So we have to plan to keep the straws out of the ground, the wells and septic for this, and thank you for doing this. And our DOT staff, this is all because also the Lico Road expansion, our boards have made a priority to make sure we have the east-west connector. But I wanted to kind of touch a little bit what I noticed in this picture, which I know the area very well. And we do have wildlife crossing out there for the Lico Road. That's going to be part of this project too. But if you look at the project just behind that, that's the north side. For people that don't know the area, that's all farmland. So when you hear this conservation land, it's habitat land, it's pepper trees along the road for 50 feet, and it's farmland that's been just totally destroyed the last 50 years with nitrogen and everything. So we're taking this land that was destroyed by farming to obviously provide utilities for future residents to help the water source of the aquifer out there. So again, thank you for your staff for doing this, and I hear from any other staff. Any questions for staff?
I just want to comment, Mr. Chairman. I support everything that you just said, and if you'll go forward a couple more slides where you show the budget, just to translate this into plain English, like I would love to see a headline tomorrow, water treatment plant comes in $4.7 million under budget. Yeah. I mean, because if it was $4.7 million over, you know that'd be the lead story on the news. But it'd be great if it was the lead story on the news. $4.7 million under budget, water treatment plant, commissioners are planning for growth. I mean, that's really what we're doing here today, and I'm very excited about this. I think it makes a ton of sense that new development is just so much better than the way things were done in the old days. We're not just creating residential lots that will go on to septic tanks and wells. We actually have new development that's growing in the environmental preservation overlay that will go on to utilities. The water will be advanced treated, and then it'll be returned in the form of irrigation water. And so I thank you for this forward thinking. I think it's a great way to do this project.
And a little segue off that number there is also, you talk about income, you talk about payment. This has been paid for through the years of impact fee, utility hookups, prop share for the area. So these developments are being paid. They're paying into this, and it helps pay for this. So we keep our enterprise fund closed, so there's no other funds coming out of it. Yeah. And that's a good thing compared to other cities that actually use their enterprise funds as a slush fund. That's why we're able to keep our fees so low. So again, thank you again for staff.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Just if I can add a couple of points. One, I chuckled a little bit when we said we came in under budget at $293 million. Is still staggering to think of these numbers in this office. But original budget was closer to 325 or 350, I think, was what the...
That's right. We thought originally we were hearing numbers for just construction was over 300,000 to 360. So even though the number's large, it's still less than what we were anticipating.
Well, thanks for steering that. I mean, 20% under original forecast is something we sure like to report on as well. The contractor is excellent. Wharton Smith is very highly regarded. I'm very confident in their work. My only humble request would be that we keep him from retiring early. To stay here for the ribbon cutting is what I would like to see personally, but I can't make a motion for that. But
thank you so much.
I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Could we go back to the slide with the shows of Three Oaks? Because I was out there 2 weeks ago, Three Oaks, and I just want to point out, people drive by this every day, based upon the hedges grown up over the years along Three Oaks Parkway. You don't realize, a lot of people don't realize, that is right there across the street from the school. You have thousands of people living on the south side on the Three Oaks side, and on the south there too. And we have the ballparks on the north side of it. I mean, literally 50 feet away. And the compatibility is amazing. And then obviously we hear from other people, the Lico one that lives 5 miles away, they're concerned about the that noise or environmental standards and everything. But again, everybody else lives there now, and they accept it, and they understand why it's there. It's just unfortunate when you try to build a school or church or a water treatment facility or a police station in people's neighborhoods, they just don't like change. But this is a perfect example of how the compatibility works, and thank you for your staff for everything you've done. So, you have anything else, Pam?
No, thank you so much.
I'll move the item.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any public comment on this item? Come back forward for any other discussion. Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you. We have public hearings. Morning, Joe.
Morning. Morning, Commissioners. Joe Adams of the County Attorney's Office. This hearing has been properly advertised, and I have the affidavit and also the project cost estimate for your clerk. Rob Price with DOT is going to come up and give a brief overview of the project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rob Price with DOT. This project is a public-private partnership that will implement an access management plan along Lee Boulevard from Leonard Boulevard to just west of Alvin Avenue. The project includes a new traffic signal at Leonard Boulevard, along with several turn lane and median modifications to improve safety along this stretch of Lee Boulevard. The county is paying the developer, Lee Boulevard Investments LLC, to construct non-development related county roadway improvements at a significant savings to the county. All of the criteria for public-private cooperation in construction of county roads under Section 336.71 Florida statutes have been met. I am available if you have any questions about specifics of the project.
Okay. Any questions for Rob?
I guess, Rob, while we got you up there, obviously maintenance of traffic is always a concern on any construction project. It's a very congested road as it is. What's your plan on that?
So in this particular project, what you have is a developer that's developing all along the north side of Lee Boulevard. They were required to put right turn lanes in at all three of their access points. They wanted to adjust we wanted them to adjust some of the median openings, move some left turns. We're going to do all we can to maintain 6 lanes of traffic through the project. Ultimately, the developer is going to be constructing these improvements. We're really excited about the access point on the north side of Leonard. It gives us a new signal location that's pretty much equidistant between 82 and Alvin Avenue. And one of the other really exciting features of the project is there is going to be a cross-access easement to the west that will ultimately serve the Olympia Point community. Once they come in, there's a development there. If they come in for redevelopment, we'll get that cross-access, and we'll have access to this traffic signal for all the Olympia Point folks as well.
Good deal. Do you have an estimate on how long you expect the construction to take?
So we don't have control over that. The developer is going to be building the project. We hope it to be quick. They're ready to go. We're working through the development order now for the improvements within the right-of-way, and we expect to have that development order issued here in the next 30 to 60 days. And they're moving dirt on site today. So I know they're anxious to get out there and start working on the right-of-way improvements.
Excellent. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Any other questions? David?
So all the permits and permissions have been cleared or imminently?
They're in process, yes, sir.
So within weeks, months, you're saying?
Correct.
So at the end of the day, for those that commute back and forth on this road every day, how will their lives get better at the end of this project? How are they going to feel? How's this going to help them?
Well, I mean, I think having this property developed, it was inevitable at some point. The city owned the property, and they're selling it or leasing it to the developer. That signal, we're going to put it in coordination. And it's equidistant from Alvin to 82. So it really is perfect spacing for traffic signals. So we think that's going to help progress traffic down Lee Boulevard. I mean, obviously, Lee Boulevard is a congested roadway. We're limited with what we can do. Widening-wise, there's not much widening. But having these turn lanes so that folks can safely get out of the through lanes to slow down, I think is going to really help.
Excellent. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Yep. Any public comment on this item? Okay, we'll come back to the board.
Chairman, I'll move approval.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, 37. Joe again.
Morning again, Commissioners. This hearing has also been properly advertised. I have the affidavit for the clerk. This is the first of two public hearings to approve an amendment to the Babcock Ranch Development Agreement. The second hearing will be at your September 2nd meeting. On May 7th of this year, the project was rezoned, and this amendment is required for consistency between the property's zoning and the existing development agreement. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Great. Any questions for staff? No? Any public comment on this item? Come back to the board for a motion.
I'll move approval.
We have a motion. I'll second it. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Thank you. Our last public hearing, number 38.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Halverson, County Attorney's Office. This item has been duly advertised, and I provided the affidavit of publication to the clerk. This item requests the board to adopt a resolution adopting and certifying the non-ad valorem special assessment rules for 27 municipal service benefit units pursuant to Section 197, 36, 32 Florida statutes. If there's any questions, staff's available.
Chairman, I'll move approval.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. I have a question. Is Josh here? Josh, you have a second? I don't see it. I was just wondering if there's any other discussion. We've had a lot of contacts about regarding Tanglewood assessments. So this is something separate then?
This is separate. Tanglewood will be in, it's an MSTU.
Right.
So that'll be addressed at the next hearings. Anything specific with?
No, we'll get with it later. I was just making sure that it wasn't on this one. I didn't see it. I was making sure that it wasn't part of this,
No, sir.
This item. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we have motion. Any public comment on number 38? Come back to the board. Any objections? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Walk on carrier. We have no walk on carrier. County manager items.
Do you want to do?
You want to do commissioner items and appointments?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, right.
No worries.
Trying to get ahead of myself here. Commissioner items. Commissioner Hammond, you have one, right?
I just
Code
kind of
enforcement?
casually wanted to bring this up. Yeah, we got another email in the office today about a property where it looks like a hoarding situation, just a lot of nuisance accumulation of junk. And, you know, we all get these in our different offices. And what's really sad for the neighbors here is that, you know, they kind of feel held hostage by this house that is bringing down property values in the whole neighborhood. And it doesn't seem like, especially when it's a homesteaded property, we have a lot that we can do about it because there's laws that protect homesteaded property from being foreclosed against. But I wanted to just suggest that since we're getting through the budget and we're kind of through a lot of those heavy workshops, could we get a workshop together with our staff to just understand the current code enforcement for these repeat offenders that are kind of really dragging the values of their whole neighborhoods down? And what other, maybe we could brainstorm together, what other consequences we could put out there to try and help ultimately get these properties cleaned up. I mean, we don't really want to be punitive against people, but I mean, you shouldn't be creating such an eyesore and such a poor situation that it's affecting and degrading your neighbor's quality of life. And so that's the kind of public health, safety, welfare conversation. I wondered if you guys are open to having a workshop like that.
I second the motion.
Absolutely.
It's always been an issue, and we need to address it. We've all talked to staff about it. I dealt with it in my prior career. You take a house as a hoarder, for example, it's mental illness. So then you have the aspect of it being a private property. We're limited what we can do from public service reasons to going on the property and taking the property and doing stuff. It comes down to eminent domain, abatement of the property. So it's just, obviously, a lot of that goes to Richard's office then once you start taking those steps, but it is an issue. We have the one house right off of 41 down before Estero that's been there for years, and it's on the way into the community, there's this house vacant sitting there, falling apart. But you can levy fines all you want, but if the people are obviously not well, they don't care about that. So meanwhile, the neighbors have to deal with that, and it would be great we could look at see if there's other areas of the state under the state statute that took some extra steps to move, expedite the process of going in from a county perspective and clean those properties up. But Richard will talk to us about that, I'm sure, in the workshop about what we can and cannot do as far as code. I know our code officers are pretty stressed already with, calls of service, but it's just something we could find some type of, I know what you're looking for, and I want to find the same thing, some way where we could physically go on there and fix this property for the residents, because people don't understand it's private property, and we can't use our resources to do that, but it's somebody's home, so that's the unfortunate part of it.
No, I will chime in. I saw the same email that was sent to all of us this morning, and I was equally frustrated, and I agree with the sentiments of the neighbors. I mean, I would be really upset if I had to live nearby that, and I would like to think there's a way we can do some sort of a condemnation cleanup, public safety component to this, where it's the right thing to do for public safety and welfare of the neighbors. I would be appalled if that was on my street, and I'd like to do whatever we can to help them.
Well, thanks, Commissioners. And so hopefully that's the consensus you need, Mr. County Manager, to create that workshop for us. And I mean, let's explore, the differences between homesteaded and non-homesteaded, and even commercial property versus residential property. What could we do to try to give you the direction or policy that you need to help us get some of these really repeat offenders cleaned up?
I will say, I will give you guys a little heads up beforehand. You can prepare for the workshop, is have other agencies involved in the workshop too. So if you use all the agencies, I remember going to homes, I would go there with 7 different agencies between Sheriff's Department, Animal Services, Health and Human Services, Youth Services, whatever the criteria is for the house. You bring all those services, and you go in there and you basically identify what the problem is. If it's elderly people, if it's Alzheimer's, or if it's just dementia, or if it's a hoarding. If it's hoarders, you go in there, then you use their family resources to help clean the property up. But you use every vehicle of resources to do that. It may be utilities cutting their water off, then you cut their water for them, pay the water bill, then you actually can evict them out of the house. All those different resources would work with code enforcement to fix the problem. And there's a way to do it. All the agencies got to work together. So you may have 7 different agencies working together in one isolated target house, but hopefully together they could, clean the area up though. But code's going to have to work with the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's going to have to work with Animal Service going to work with sanitation, utilities, whatever it may be. You can find a way to get in the house from a public safety standpoint, and also with compliance to the residents. A lot of times they want help. They just don't know what to do, or they're not in a mental capacity to seek help or know where to go. So thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks, Chairman.
Does that need to be part of a motion?
I don't know if you need a motion. It's pretty clear you got consensus from the 3 of us that we'd love to have that workshop. You need a full motion to direct you to do that?
No, we'll coordinate those efforts, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else on Commissioner item?
I'm all set. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
I don't have anything. Commissioner Luca, do you have a Commissioner item?
Yes, and it's one I'm excited about. This item is regarding San Carlos Island parcels and Main Street property, and I think we have a slide that staff has to show us a map of this area. If you recall, when I first came on board, the Maritime Park Trico site was contemplated, and then I had asked for your support in trying to find a public benefit in a boat ramp, possible expansion for that site there. As those discussions developed, these other parcels down the road here, coming right onto Main Street off of San Carlos, you'll see the highlighted parcel here. There's the primary one that I wanted to discuss, and then the 4 adjacent parcels that you see to the east, closer to Kelly Brothers and Maritime Park here.
Yeah.
These 4 sites.
Okay.
So what staff has been pursuing, and we actually gave them direction to pursue this using CDBGR funds on June 17th to pursue this site, which was approximately about a $10 million project total. And the assembly has 2 different sellers. So we have one seller here that's highlighted. That's the main point of the discussion today. And then we're also in negotiations to pursue the old Semler Electric site that is currently under negotiation to assemble here. So the goal of this is to be able to create a public boat ramp that is a standalone facility and doesn't have to commingle the shrimping and the gray skies DNR uses of the site down the road. So we could have the best of both. So along the lines of a Panarasa version of this would be about a 2.5-acre site. So the motion that I want to make is we've already allowed staff to pursue these parcels using the CDBGR funding. Because of the assemblage, we have 2 different sites here. The parcel in question right now currently has a counteroffer from someone else that could be executed by the seller that we're competing with. And my motion specifically is to authorize staff to submit an expedited offer to purchase today in the amount of $1.9 million plus closing costs, which was estimated for about $2,050,000, using general fund reserves contingent upon future board approval and following all standard due diligence procedures to be followed. So with that, the results of the due diligence period, we could tie up the project today, follow due diligence, and prior to expiration of the due diligence period, all the findings of due diligence will be brought back to us for consideration to see if we want to move forward with the purchase. But this just allows us to have control over the site, because if we don't get this first parcel, the boat ramp assembly, the rest of the site plan won't fit. And I can let staff explain that a little bit, and there's other road improvements tied to this. So.
Mr. Chairman.
You follow?
Yeah, so I'd love to separate this for a second and just have two separate conversations. The one conversation on the specific request that you made, and then maybe a second conversation about just working together as a board, all of us. There's been a lot of meetings here lately where we've all kind of brought up really good commissioner items on the fly. And I understand there's a lot of urgency, and there always needs to be room to make decisions when there is a sense of urgency, but I always love to have the ability to do my homework on an item before we vote on it. And I wonder if maybe working with our county manager, if we can come up with a better process for walk-on items on the agenda. Even if a commissioner wants to walk an actual voting item on an agenda, we could work with, somehow give the staff the ability to work with that commissioner to put some background together so that all of us can feel fully prepared. Because I mean, to be just completely transparent, it's my first time hearing this idea, just completely cold, because of sunshine. And then we love the sunshine law, and we respect it and all the reasons why it's there. But we don't get to, I think people will be really surprised to find out we don't get to talk behind the scenes about stuff like this. So it's hard for a decision maker to be caught cold with an idea for the very first time on the dais and now make a decision. So maybe we can talk about some way to create like a commissioner walk-on process where we could work with the staff to create more briefing material for things like this when they come up.
I can absolutely understand it and agree to that. I don't have the slightest. It's tough that we can only talk here together. So.
And Dave, this is a great, thank you for bringing this up.
It's a great idea.
But again, I was going to bring that up when there's more of us here in the future, maybe when in the future, or maybe in a workshop. We already have the administrative code. I think what you're getting to is in the past we've had some issues come up, just without naming certain items, but just on the fly things come up without having that administrative code being followed. We get noticed even 4 o'clock before the day before. It's already in there. We're supposed to be told, we're supposed to, out of respect to each other, not bring something up until of the meeting. Also for transparency, because it looks bad to the public. The people I've said here before, I walked out of meetings, and people email me during the meeting going, hey, where did this come from? You guys didn't even announce this. And we know what happens with that. That's why my vote last time I even said something about just reduce all the drama in the future. So we have that. And I understand sometimes in the past, people are afraid if they bring it up, they're not going to get their support, or staff's going to work against them or something. That's not possible, okay? Just let us know. So this is a great idea. When you say, okay, so back on this topic is...
Yeah, so back to the idea,
Just a little backstory on this gentleman, and I have the highest respect for both of you and your service, and I'm trying to do a good job. If this competing offer hadn't been brought to the seller in the same time period as we were negotiating, that we could possibly be in jeopardy of losing the whole assembly in the moment, I wouldn't have used this method. I would have said, can we discuss it at the next meeting, and absolutely 100% agree with that. But the time-sensitive part about competing real estate offers is if we don't have one on the table, we won't have the ability to make an offer.
My concern is I'm not in real estate, and we do everything obviously. We have to do everything in sunshine here. And so right now we're talking about this. There's somebody probably, when you said seller has already made an offer, I'm not sure what the legal ramifications is.
Competing buyer.
Right, a competing buyer. Don't know who the buyer seller is. Here we are using public tax dollars to buy something. We're competing against the public taxpayers. And I want the parcel, we don't want to lose access, but again, we usually go through a procurement process, a bidding process, and everything. So I know we're going to go through that if this goes through, but I'm just concerned about and maybe Richard, can we take this action on a transaction, this real estate transaction like this?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think the takeaway from the item is one, driven by timing, as outlined by Commissioner Maleka. Two, the fact that the board has previously viewed this project in an overall fashion and given its approval. What makes this one different is the timing of the competing offer. In a nutshell, I believe what the commissioner is asking is the authority to use, or the change in the previous ask was we're looking strictly at the use of grant funding proceeds for acquisition. Now, because of the timing, the commissioner is asking for the use of board reserve funding in order to tender an offer, execute what is basically a purchase and sale agreement that would contain all of our standard protections for the county. Closing would not take place until all of our due diligence was conducted. So this would be the first step in the process to have a funding source to allow us to execute a purchase and sale agreement. We would then go through standard due diligence in terms of environmental site assessment, title, all the things we normally do. And assuming all of that passes review, we would then bring the matter back to you for authority to close on the purchase.
So we'd be okay with doing this, and then later on we find out the property is not valued as much as we offered.
Correct.
We want to overpay for something. So we're okay legally there. Right?
Yes, sir, and I should have included the appraisal aspect in my discussion. I just focused on the environmental site assessment. We would likewise have contingencies in the purchase and sale agreement to afford us the opportunity to follow our standard appraisal process. Should the appraisals not support the purchase price, we would then bring that back to you for, for consideration. Likewise, if the environmental site assessment would turn up something on the property that we cannot overcome, we would bring that back to you for recommendation to basically walk away from the contract.
The due diligence, all I'm recommending, asking for your consideration, this allows us to engage. It doesn't require us to close. So this gives us 90 days due diligence. Let's say a typical commercial real estate deal, do your due diligence, do your fact finding, and then come back to us prior to expiration of due diligence and decide if we want to move forward with an informed decision at that time. So we have the chance to get the information that you need to make an informed decision, and I totally respect that.
Sure.
I just want to have the chance to engage with the opportunity to try.
Chairman, can I ask a couple of strategy questions real quick? So this could be for either Dave or Richard, whoever feels best to answer it. I appreciate the idea. I think this is a fantastic idea. I had a lot of heartburn over mixing the public and commercial together on that other site that we were talking about. So I love the idea that we would create a separate site for the public and keep one strictly commercial and one strictly public and recreational. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I have two concerns. Number one, I don't know if it's a good idea to put a specific number out there. I would love to reword your motion in a way that it gives them the flexibility to put a successful offer in. Because, I would love to just it's wordsmithing there, but would love to just, I don't want to lose this thing by $10 because we set a specific number and somebody's like, well, I'll give you $10 more. You know what I mean? Because honestly, there's been a site in the past just kind of walking down memory lane that we lost by $100,000 one time that I really wanted for the county in North Fort Myers. And to this day, it's a terrible eyesore on the banks of the Caloosahatchee River when we could have had it, we could have made it a boat ramp, and I'm really sad we lost that. But anyways, that's water under the bridge. Literally, because it's right by the bridge.
No pun intended. It's not the city of Fort Myers either.
So how can we just reword what you're asking for in a way that gives us flexibility on whatever offer we put in, and then the source of funds too? We don't just have reserves that we could go to for this. We also have something in the West Coast Inland Navigation District called the CNIF, which is basically a reserve that the county has within that fund, meant for things like this, and you could use that for purchase of boat ramps in the future as well. So just kind of leave it open to the staff as far as what source of funds they want to use. But yeah, I love the idea that we would find a way to successfully get this.
Can we show a picture of the concept plan, the sketch of what we think this might look like in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's eligible for CNIF, for WCIND money too. I know I've been on this board. I think it'd be a really interesting board if you wanted to serve on it sometime, Commissioner Mullica, because that's like your wheelhouse. They're all about West Coast Inland Navigation. They created a rule change years ago that allows them to now do land acquisition with the county's funds, so.
If there's another checkbook that we haven't contemplated, I'm certainly open-minded, but I think on June 17th, can you help me out, as county manager, that I think we already had several tools in the toolbox on the table.
Correct.
First made this motion?
So the plan is to use CDBGR dollars for the purchase, but also to use WCIND funds for the boat ramp portion of this project.
Okay, so you got that, you're considering
Correct.
that already. All right, good. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and
I
look
think
at all
there's
that.
4 or 5 different mechanisms they had.
I just wanted to give them more flexibility to bring us a successful offer. I think this is a good idea.
Well, thank you. This is just giving them reserves as an additional tool in the toolbox.
Okay.
In addition to what they already have.
And look at all that public parking, and structured parking, public parking we have there, so.
And this facility wouldn't compete with the gray sky cleanup portion of potential use on the other site, so that the public always has an open boat ramp. And as excited we are about Ponderosa coming up this week and the loss we felt for 3 years without it, this gives us another opportunity to have one of those open in the near future, and I'm excited about it. I apologize for the last minute indulgence of information, but I would appreciate your support.
Second.
I think Commissioner Hammond's comments kind of clear there of that, and again, we as the board, we can always speak up, as we've done in the past recently about that, so we can voice our opposition and follow the administrative code. It's just fair to everybody if everybody follows the rules, and makes it a little bit easier and makes it more transparent, so we know what we're voting on before we're ahead of time. So that's your motion?
Are we clear on the motion to engage the contract for the?
With, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Without the dollar limitation specified so that staff has flexibility.
As well as the funding source, so look at all alternative funding sources.
But just to be clear, I have had some conversations with the seller, and the $1.9 million offer, they would accept that. So
Do you want to recommend a way to wordsmith the motion to see if the motion makers would accept that?
Mr. Chairman, what I would suggest is go ahead with the motion without the dollar amount involved, and we will put pen to paper very quickly to get a contract together in the amount of 1.9 and get it to the seller.
Okay, we'll present that offer.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't mean you can't continue the negotiation.
Correct.
We agree to get open at that number.
It might be better for your protection too, because it's a board action, so you're not involved any longer, so have that have a successful bidding. Yeah.
So I'll amend my motion to.
If the board approves, we'll take it from here.
Okay. Did you second it?
Second it.
Okay. Any public comment on this action? Joyce, come forward, please.
I apologize for the timing. I just didn't want to lose the opportunity.
No worries.
So we'll come back to us and we'll make an informed decision at the right time. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Joyce Campana for the record. I'm a little bit confused just hearing this myself. That highlighted parcel is privately owned, and the person already has an offer from a private party? If that's correct, why would a private party want to wait 30, 60, 90 days for the county to do its different assessments of environmental and all that? Why wouldn't they just want to take the money unless, their offer's lower than the 1.9 that was discussed? I'm a little bit confused on how that's working. Why, if they already have an offer, are we trying to beat out that offer? Do we know what the private offer was to the private party? Something just seems a little off from the other side of the bench. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joyce. Any other public comment on the action? Okay, we'll come back to the board for any other discussion. And
Mr. Chairman, perhaps just by way of further clarification and provide some comfort, we anticipate drafting this contract with numerous out clauses. One of them would be the environmental issue that we talked about. Another would be that part of our regular due diligence is soliciting appraisals for the property. We will draft a contract that if the appraisals do not support the purchase price, we will either renegotiate the purchase price downward to the amount supported by the appraisal, or if the seller is unwilling to do that, we'll bring that back before the board for further action. So the 1.9 is a working number right now. that will have to be supported by outside third-party appraisals as part of our standard due diligence acquisition process.
Correct. We're going to follow the same due diligence as any buyer would do for any commercial property, and anybody would have a due diligence period. And we have protections in a walkaway clause if that doesn't meet pass muster, and it'll be brought back for your approval as discussed.
Right. So we can approve, accept or deny it based upon that?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay.
This is just a motion to proceed, not a motion to close.
Right. Okay, great, thank you. Any other discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objection, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, committee appointments. Commissioner Hammond, do you have any committee appointments?
I do have I have 4 reappointments today, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to reappoint Amanda Brunson to the Community Action Agency. I would like to reappoint Amy McLaughlin to the Community Action Agency. I'd like to reappoint Amy Thibault to the Land Development Code Committee and Jennifer Sapin to the Land Development Code Committee.
I'll second.
Second. Any public comment on that? Any objection? No objection, motion carries. Mr. Malika, do you have any?
I do not.
I have a few, so if you could bear with me here. We have new appointment Michael Babos to Affordable Housing, reappointment the exec EROC of Tracy Hayden, reappointment of Victor DuPont for the EROC Executive Regulatory Oversight Committee, reappointment of David Gallagher of the Executive Regulatory Oversight Committee, EROC, reappointment of Jack Morris of Land Development Code, reappointment of Randy Chris, Land Development Code, and reappointment of Michael Murata, Community Action Agency Advisory.
Second.
Motion second. Any public comment on those actions? Any objections? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you. Now we go to the county manager items.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have no items today.
Really? Seriously? You did it on purpose, didn't you?
After 88 last time.
Exactly.
Richard, the man of many words.
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Really? Nothing? No good news from your offices? We haven't won I'm sure we won some lawsuits lately, right?
Lost? No.
No, one. We won some lawsuits, right? Anything else?
Our batting average is well above Hall of Fame status.
Your office is doing a great job, so thank you to all your staff helping us fight against that
We have an
side
excellent
out there,
team,
the other
Mr.
side. Okay, at this time, we'll go to public comment for the presentation of the matter concerned citizens. Danny Ballard from Norfolk Myers.
Good morning, Commissioners. Danny Ballard. I want to talk about Littleton Road. I had made a bunch of phone calls, talked to the Sheriff's Department, talked to the school district, and I know the traffic in and out of the school is nothing that nobody can fix. It's there. It's a statewide problem. But the problem with Littleton, even now as the construction is winding down, and I talked to Bob Price this morning, and he said probably more of a Sheriff's Department issue, so I think I need the help of the commissioners maybe to get the Sheriff's Department to do something. Speeding is the issue. They are driving 60, 70 miles an hour through a 30-mile construction zone. You've got vehicles crossing 2 sets of double yellow lines to go the opposite way than the way because they don't want to sit in traffic. Sheriff's Department, they came out there and they said, well, we can't write tickets because it looks like we're targeting people. So we give them warnings. Warnings ain't working. So something has to happen one way or the other, because one of the lanes that is a non-traffic lane lines up head-on to a turn lane, and cars are going through that non-traffic lane like it's a drive lane. One of these mornings, and it just about happened yesterday, one of these mornings, one of them cars is going to come there, and there's going to be something in the turn lane, there's going to be a head-on collision. So I'm asking for help. I know Bob told me that maybe there was something that could be done, but it's probably going to have to be done post-construction because it's hard to amend the actions that's going on in construction. But I guess right now, we need to see if we can get you all need to see if you can get the Sheriff's Department out there for enforcement and writing tickets, because it is a major problem. I would ask any of the three of you all, the county manager, anybody, come out there and sit out there someday and watch the traffic. And I know you drive that road a lot, and it's bad during non-pickup or delivery hours, and it's worse during the day. There's a motorcycle went through there yesterday afternoon, but he was running 100 miles an hour. on a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone. So I need some help. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure our DOT staff heard you here, and I know Mr. Hammond heard you, so thank you, Danny. Next, Tom Chapman. Yes. Tom, stay here in the front. I thought I was on there. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Good. Tom Chapman. I live at 5091 Lexington Boulevard in Glen Eden subdivision. And I'm here to speak about the Tanglewood MSTU. If I could approach the dais, I'd like to give you a map of this.
Just got to go to the clerk.
Just go to the clerk right there gets it for the minutes.
Okay. Well, this came from the county. That's
okay. Thank you.
This MSTU, the first time I've lived in Glen Eden for 30 some odd years, and the first time I heard about the MSTU was March of this year. They're saying that we get the benefits of the shrubbery and the wall and all that, and we do not. We have one way in, one way out of our community, and that's through Brentwood. And the last time I checked, Brentwood was a public access road and maintained by the county. Now, Glen Eden, Lexington Boulevard is a private drive with public access. Now, I just don't see where we get any benefit from the MSTU. And by the way, we've got 19 lots and 13 homes back in there. And I've talked with every one of my neighbors, and they are definitely against this. Even my next door neighbor is Melissa Giovanelli, who's on the school board, and she's against it, and her husband's against it. And I'm sure that the MSTU for Tanglewood is a good thing, but we don't need to be involved in it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Julie Crawford, I believe it is. It's hard to read. Crawford?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Julie Cloward. I was just coming in for Three Oaks Parks, the Sunshades. We've been dealing with this for a while. Back in August of 2022, there were funds allocated in the amount of $1.3 million that was allocated for the Sunshades. We understand that in September there was a hurricane, obviously, of 2022, which changed a lot of things. As parents, we're just all frustrated that there are still no new sunshades built. This is more of a safety issue than anything, as far as parents, kids, spectators getting hit with foul balls. We've had that happen several times, people not wanting to come to the fields because there's not shades anymore. We heard, well, it's Hurricane Ian damaged the shades. There were some that were damaged and fell down in Ian. However, 2 years later, in 2024, is when all of the shade structures were taken away of Three Oaks Park. So I'm not quite sure what transpired from 2022 to 2024, but every single shade was then removed. So now we've been a year without any shade at all. We had plans that were drawn by the county of these shades that were promised that we were going to get that did not get followed through. When funds are allocated, I would think if for some reason those funds are used elsewhere or not given, that there would be some sort of communication. Looking back through all the minutes from 2022 until current, I don't see that those were ever reallocated anywhere. So I'm not quite sure where that transpired or took place. We did have a petition that another parent had started, just saying, hey, where are these shades? Like, it's hot out, it's like years and we don't have it. Then even more discouraging is when we see on the Lee County Parks and Rec page that there's lighted pickleball courts going up. So how does that take precedence or priority over a county field, a kids field where kids go and play ball and live in this county. So I'm not sure where the funds went or why these shades were never built back, put back, but then other fields are getting shades, other fields are getting renovations, and Three Oaks has gotten nothing. So as parents, we're just frustrated and concerned as to where did the initial 1.3 million go, and what are we doing, and when do we get something up for these kids and their safety? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Vic Chopra.
Good morning, Commissioners. I really appreciate your time. One, I want to lift up Mike Greenwell. I was a huge Mike Greenwell fan growing up upstate New York. I was always a Red Sox fan. I was kind of brainwashed to be. I even wore number 39 in Little League. So I lift him up. Regardless of how I feel he's doing with land development, prayers to him, because that's a big deal. I'm here on behalf of San Carlos Youth Baseball and Softball as a parent, basically going with what Julie said. I know you guys have your hands full. There's a lot of parks that got damaged. You guys are doing the splash pad over at Lakes Park, so thank you for that. Raised my kid over there. But again, the issue, I've been a baseball dad and coach and working concessions, volunteering my time at Three Oaks Park for close to 7 years. Great park. Lee County Parks and Rec has done an amazing job at the park. The fields look better now than they ever have. But the main issue is, guys, like $1.3 million is completely unaccounted for. Not saying there's funny business, but it was allocated. We literally have plans that, we'll make sure you get the plans, that came from Lee County Parks and Rec of, hey, here's the shade, here's the protection, this is what you're gonna get. This is in 2022. There's been at least 8 to 12 calls from myself in the Lee County Parks and Rec, numerous from the actual organization to figure out what's going on, and we can't get answers. We hear everything from, it's a permitting issue, which doesn't make any sense because it's the county pulling permits for the county. We're getting, hey, next year, next fiscal year. As pickleball courts with lights are going up, we have people presenting $2 million to buy, I don't know, put more boats in the water, so the rich get what they want. I get a little fired up because I love kids. I love coaching kids. We have to get shade. We have to get protection. I know FMA, Cecil, I know you're good friends with Donnie over there. They're getting new scoreboards. I know it falls under the city. They're getting new scoreboards. They're getting new shade. I'm not trying to compete with other parks. San Carlos Park is a very hardworking community. They deserve better. They need to figure out where these funds are. We need a date. We want you guys to deliver on that. Like I said, I'm in concessions 1 day a week, volunteering my time, slinging Costco hot dogs. Complaints are never ending. Yeah, the plan was presented. No updates. That's it. Like, literally just transparency. Someone reach out to the San Carlos board to say, hey, guys, this is when you can expect an answer. This is when you can have it, because we're going year after year after year, and you guys know it's hot. That's all I say, just transparency and give us a date. We love what we got to do with Lee County. It's getting a little kind of packed, so let's focus on the families and the children, please, before voters. Thank you.
Next speaker is Linda Schumer-Kelmer. Linda? Okay. And after that, Autumn. Good morning, welcome back.
Good morning. The citizens of Lee County and the greater state of Florida have had enough of you men turning a blind eye to a completely broken facility, Mr. Mora. Lee County Domestic Animal Services. Rather than put a stop to it, you give them praise. I've been coming to you for over a year and a half, reporting horrific events not only of poor practices, but of animals being neglected in their care. Most recently, a poor little dog named Tiger was found at a gas station with an injured leg. He was brought to Blue Pearl, examined and medically deemed stable health-wise, aside from a palpated fracture of his femoral leg, and a small wound apparently a victim of a car strike. The vet, Jennifer Stratton, examined the dog upon return, concurred what Blue Pearl had discovered, and did not perform an x-ray. But Tiger arrived back there, he received no care, not even an x-ray, and by the end of the 7 days he rotted in there, in the custody and so-called care of the county. He was finally examined, x-rayed done, determined he had a horrific compound fracture. His hindquarter was found to be fully swollen, not the case when first seen by Blue Pearl. He had a dangerous heart murmur, his gums were pale, he was tachycardic and had an almost non-existent pulse in his leg. Any veterinarian or medical professional worth their salt knows what this means. He bled out into his little body. That fracture was so significant, it would have caused him horrific pain and suffering, and as a result of the neglect and failure to treat this dog. The county's systemic neglect is failure, and their failure of oversight of this facility is reprehensible. Previously, I have come to you repeatedly, as I've stated. This is an unquestionable case of cruelty and neglect, and is particularly horrific because of the pain this animal had to suffer as he lay there with his life draining from him while people walked by him. If one of us did this to our animal, we would have cuffs on. It should be no different for cruelty perpetrated in this facility. The clinic manager, Andrea Rothwell, veterinarian Jennifer Stratton, should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law for this cruelty and neglect, and we will not stop until we get justice for this dog and the other animals that have suffered. You yourselves are just as culpable for allowing this to happen as are these monsters. This needs to end with Tiger. Enough is enough.
Great. And next speaker is Autumn.
Can I have that picture back if you're not going to put it? Thank you.
Good morning, and I'm also here about the Lee County Animal Shelter and the horrific practices that they seem to be doing every day. They killed a woman's dog last week before she ever got a chance to come in and pick him up. I actually live in Collier County, and I'm trying to get people in Lee County to see what we can do to change the practices at Lee County Animal Shelter. I'm just going to read you that your colleagues in Collier County, what Bert Sanders sent out yesterday to the residents of Collier County. It says Collier County Domestic Animal Services take in more than 6,000 animals each year, providing compassionate care, medical support, adoption services for lost, abandoned, and surrendered pets. Thanks to dedicated staff, volunteers, fosters, and community partners, we proudly maintain a 95% life-saving rate for the animals of our community. I did used to volunteer at Collier County Animal Shelter. Right now, fostering is the most critical way county members can support our life-saving efforts. Many of the animals in need of fostering are among our most vulnerable, including young kittens, puppies, and medical recovery cases, like Tiger, who simply do better in a quiet, loving home than in a shelter environment. Even short-term fostering helps give these animals a stronger start. DAS provides all supplies, medical care, and support. You provide love. Adopt your next best friend. Every adoption opens a kennel for another pet in need and gives an animal a second chance at life. You can make a difference by donating to support medical care, enrichment, and emergency needs. This needs to be done the same in Lee County and make it a no-kill shelter like Collier County is. Thank you.
Great, thank you. If you get on the way back to Naples, I got 4 animals adopted last week. Maybe you could stop by our facility on the way back to Naples and adopt a dog. So thank you again.
Well,
it's open to the public. You can stop by and pick up a dog if you like on the way home. Thank you.
Well, I've got one,
Next
and
speaker,
I
please.
volunteer to clean the cages while the people walk the big dogs.
Yeah, thank you. Any other speakers? That's my last card. Joyce, come on down. Thanks, Joyce, for being involved. Joyce came to BPAC last week when I was there, so thanks for being involved.
Good morning. Joyce Campana for the record, a Lee County resident of District 2. I'm here to talk about the County Board of Commissioners workshop that will be held this afternoon on the fiscal year 2025-26 budget. The Board of Commissioners will be discussing pay increases for county employees and looking at information that was provided on increases in other entities. When I reviewed what was out on the website under this meeting agenda item, I did not see percent increases given by the state of Florida, nor is there any mention of the rate of inflation. So I'm here to discuss those 2 items. Could be that I missed it, or it's going to be presented and wasn't scanned with the agenda. I don't know. It is my understanding that the state of Florida gave a 2% increase to its employees. According to the August 16 White House newsletter, Quote, since President Trump took office, inflation is tracking at a mere 1.9%, low and stable, end quote. This afternoon at the County Board workshop, when discussing pay adjustments, I ask you to please keep those 2 points in mind. 1, that state employees received a 2% pay increase, and 2, according to the president, inflation is at 1.9%. Therefore, I believe that proposing a pay increase of anything more than 2% would be fiscally irresponsible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joyce. Any other public comment? We'll come back to the board before we recess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One item of business, I'm so glad we got the comments about the Three Oaks shade structures. I know we've all been getting the emails about them too, and I've been talking with our county manager, Dave Harner, about those emails. Shade structures are something that I've always been passionate about for years. We've been trying to get them built all over the county. Dave, when we were having conversations earlier, you had some ideas on how we could expedite specifically the Three Oaks shade structures. Can you outline that for us and kind of just give us a general update of where we're at on the project?
Yes, I can.
Add to that, I'm sorry, Commissioner. She also added that it was due to lack of transparency, there was no money missing, 1.3. This is already
Right,
been
yeah.
done. We discussed this. We've had emails on the past. We provided information. Everything's part of our budget. It was part of our agendas in the past, so there was no money missing as it was portrayed earlier.
That. Yeah, no,
So just wanted to just clarify for
You gotta
anybody
clear that
listening.
stuff up, of
But, you know,
course,
this has already been dealt with before, and we don't really react to be basic on petitions or whatever, because we already voted on this. So this is tax dollars for everybody. So thank you.
But there is an idea to expedite it, and so I would love to hear that idea from our county manager.
Definitely. On the 1.3 million that was dedicated for shade structures, that was countywide. Following the hurricane, the board gave direction to light all the fields. We had an issue with the lighting on all the fields, or not all of them, a number of the fields for youth leagues. We used some of the shade structure money for that purpose. The board chose not to seek FEMA reimbursement for that, so therefore we used those dollars to fund that. Those dollars were also used for other priority projects as opposed to shade, but the goal was always to come back and do shade structures. Part of this was specific to Three Oaks. The plan was to start the construction sometime next year. Solicitation would roughly take 4 to 8 months, and then you would be able, 4 to 6 months, and then you would be able to construct, which would be 5 to 6 months. What we would believe that we can do to expedite this project, as opposed to waiting till next fiscal year, because that's when it's planned to be budgeted, is to use the dollars we currently have within the park budget to move forward with the project at Three Oaks. We would need the board, if the board gives us direction to do so, we would plan on doing the project this year as opposed to waiting until next year's budget. We would need the board to give us direction to allow us to shorten the time frame for advertising to 14 days. If the board so agrees to do so, it would take us 3 months to advertise or to finally get a design build on board. And then it would take an additional 5 months from that point forward to build. And that's worst case scenario, 5 months. So a total of 8 months, worst case scenario, if the board gives us direction today.
So, but shortening the advertising period could save us 60 days worth of time and get us there a couple months earlier than currently planned. Mr. Chairman, I know it's kind of out of the ordinary, but Dave's given us a good idea to try and get this project sped up by a couple months. I would like to make that motion that we do as he outlined on shortening the advertising and procurement period to try and get this design build company on board and get these going pretty quickly.
So, all fairness to what we talked about earlier about the docks, is that for today or is that for the future meeting of advertising?
This is for today, with our county manager just giving us an idea today. I mean, that, and if you read the administrative code, which I know you've read the administrative code, it actually specifically says if you hear something in public presentation of matters by citizens, you can address it at the meeting. So I'm following the code. And listen, I know, on the thing we talked about earlier, I'm one of the biggest offenders too. I do it too. But listen, we've renamed bridges as commissioner items. We've done other things as commissioner items. I just would like to see, if we're going to make a big purchase, let's outline that ahead of time so that we know what we're talking about. But back to the topic. I think Dave's given us a good...
I was going to address it based upon public comment, so I'm glad you brought it up too. So, good. So, yes.
So, can I just have a question? Didn't we just recently approve a Three Oaks shade structure item recently? I thought we just had,
Mac, yeah.
I thought we recently approved something for
No, did we? Can you
$675,000.
Did we?
I recall some, maybe I'm misremembering, I thought we had already.
Did we approve any shade structures recently at a board meeting? No, I didn't think so.
All right, then maybe I'm misremembering from another park project that I recall, but anyway, I support your motion.
Yeah.
So we have a motion, a second. Any public comment on the item? We don't take questions at all. If you have public comment, come to the podium, please, and state your name.
So, Brian, thank you. Commissioner Hammond, thank you for really pushing that forward. As a parent, very, very busy. However you guys communicate to Lee County Parks, rather than just following Facebook, how can we understand what you guys are approving, what's getting allocated, what gets pushed back? We understand hurricanes come. We were told by Lee County Parks and Rec that the lighting was being paid for by FEMA. That's why we had to wait. We heard that it was FEMA cash. One, you guys had already found a company in Fort Lauderdale to do the shade structures. That was $1.3 million awarded to this company for these shade structures. The plan is already here by Lee County Parks and Rec. So bumping up a couple of months, that's cute, that's great. We're very, very thankful. Kids do not come first in this county. I've seen it. They do not come first. You guys focus on the golfers, you guys focus on the fishermen, you guys focus on the boaters because that brings in money. You're trying to sell lifestyle for Lee County. If you want to sell lifestyle, focus on the young children. Here is the plan. The company is in Fort Lauderdale. Please speed it up. Thank God I don't wear a suit.
Thank you. Any other public comment on the commissioner item?
Is that a thank you?
No, it's a thankless job, remember that.
So anyway, we have any other public comment? We'll come back to the board. Any other discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objection. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next we will have a workshop at 1:30 today. We'll be adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,